It is Saturday, April 20th, 2019, and in my view, Bitcoin prices are bullish, bullish, bullish. However, there is one chart pattern we need to be aware of because it could indicate that prices are going to correct back to $3,000. If this kind of information is interesting to you, stay tuned to the end of the video so that we can dig into the charts and see how we can be ready for that. This is the 24 hours of Bitcoin. You can pause the video here to read through the disclaimer or click on the link in the description below. When we bring up the charts for Bitcoin, I'm bullish. So I'm anticipating that the RSI is going to be ticking higher right here, and it's going to be crossing over the 70% level and going up with the next wave of buying coming in. I'm bullish, so I'm anticipating that the the on-balance volume here will tick higher, and we'll see another big spike of green in the on-balance volume as prices go higher. And I'm anticipating that the MACD indicator will also corroborate that, and the green line will stay above the red line and widen while the histogram deepens and goes more positive. So these are all the things I see in the short term as positive and what I'm anticipating. When I look at the longer term view of Bitcoin and I see these bottom formations in Bitcoin and Litecoin US dollar, Ethereum US dollar, XLM or Ripple US dollar. These are phenomenal bottom formations that really, when I dig into it and we start looking at the logarithmic view of this, it's no stretch at all to think of prices going up to the $9,400 level from this momentum in the charts compared to where the prices are. So I'm very bullish in prices for Bitcoin and for the rest of the cryptocurrencies. However, there is that one chart pattern that really makes me get up in the morning and check the charts to see if this is happening or not. And it's this page I see on the cover of this book that I thought was phenomenal. I haven't purchased this book, but there is a link down below the description where you can go to Amazon and purchase it if you want. So I'm looking at this and I'm reflecting on this descending wedge triangle that we recently saw in Bitcoin. In middle of November, Bitcoin prices broke down lower. And if we see a repeat of this pattern, then we are right now at the top of this second blip. And if this pattern repeats, and this is what ends up playing out in Bitcoin prices, then we're not going to go up to $9,400. Instead, we're going to go down to $2,500 and then move our way back up. Now, the conspiracy theorists in me believes that this would be manipulation from the institutional sized buyers and sellers. They're going to have their buy orders down below the market already waiting, and they're going to start selling. And all of the small guys are going to hold as long as they can until all of their stops are hit, and finally panic hits in, and down we go to the big institutional buyers scooping everything up, and off we go. So we've got to be aware of that potential. So let's go to the charts, pull it back, double click on so we can clean it up a little bit, and let's find a point in the chart where we had something like that. Let's go back to our scene. So we're looking for something that had a big down move here after a move up, a big down move. What happened in the RSI, on balance volume, and MACD indicators at that move in the prices? So if we jump back here, let's do this one in Bitcoin. It looks pretty similar to what we just saw in the other chart. Let's dig into this right here, and we're looking at the daily view. We'll see what we can see. Daily view, relative strength index, double top, and then prices came down. So it did not tick higher and go above the 70 level as I'm anticipating that we're going to be doing now. So instead, the RSI really started to come back on prices. And what's the date here? March of 2018. In the one-day view, pull it back to March of 2018 and zoom in to see what did the on-balance volume do. We were seeing a lot of chop up and down before it cracked, but we definitely saw it go red before the crossover, but down below. So not quite the same on-balance volume setup that we have right now. Let's go and see what the MACD indicator is saying. One-day view, pull it back. And this is research I encourage you to continue so that you can get familiar with what these indicators are saying just before a big price pullback, so that we can be watching for the green line crossing over the red at the just after the double top. So it's all looking good. It's coming up into that positive histogram. It's right where I want it, and all of a sudden down it goes. So for my own research, I'll zoom into these different time frames, and I'll get much more familiar with what happened at that time, so that I can be ready for the similar thing happening now if we are going to see that happening. We'll see this crossover, and it'll be going down. We'll see the on-balance volume. We'll watch the RSI, and we'll see if we're getting those kind of negative crossovers from now. I'm not expecting it, but I want to be ready for it. And one of the ways to be ready for it is to always be watching these trend lines on the 4 big markets. So if these 4 trend lines, and we're being really rough and general here, but if these trend lines here are broken all at the same time, this is really key, that there's something pulling back. All of the markets will do it at the same time. And there's enough room down below the markets here for them to do a correction without changing the overall bullish trend. They can all come back and retest these levels. It's not, that wouldn't change the overall bullish trend. And if you entertain some of the conspiracy theories that I do, then it's not a far stretch to think that these prices could be depressed down to an extreme level to pick up as many of the real physical Bitcoins as possible. As you know, what I mean about real physical, rather than just a contract about Bitcoin. So the trading platforms that use contracts can be used to go short and drive the market down, while the platforms that trade real Bitcoin can be used to scoop up and purchase Bitcoin that's moved off the exchange. And the large institutions can sweep up an enormous quantity of it from all of us guys who set it all up and got the whole thing going. That's my conspiracy theory. We'll see how this plans out. I appreciate you guys being here. If you like this, hit the thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. Put it under your playlist. Share it on Facebook and social media. You know the routine. All the best in your Bitcoin trading. We will see you in the next episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin.